Good morning. Welcome to Beyond the SEAF Model. I'm Jack Kosar. This is effective for the week of June 16th. Let's get started. SEAF signals for this week. We have technology, communication services, and consumer discretionary. What we're really seeing here is kind of got our two-horse race here, and the consumer discretionary coming in. Technology really strong across the board, 2 and 1 with that's trading, tactical, strategic, respectively, and communication services still showing some strength as well, with 2s in the tactical and the strategic, and 3 in the trading week. Industrial's taking a little bit of a dive here with a overall 10 on the trading week, pushing it down into the neutral category and seeing a little bit of life of energy. It's got that positive momentum that I like to see, going from 11 to 8 to 1. We'll need to see some sustained flows in that energy in order for us to really rocket us up into the top 3. And financials continues its slide down. Going into our heat map. Showing a little bit of uniqueness here. You know, we got our, like I said, we have our top 2 showing a lot of strength, green across the board. Outside of that, a lot of yellow, and that kind of dictates into how the flows have been going. We see the green down here, and overall, a lot of weakness in flows, which to me screams a little bit of hesitancy in the in managers in the market. We are now at 13 days in a row, business days in a row, without a net flow of either positive 1% or negative 1% or greater, and kind of been sitting in that zone for quite a bit of time now. Like I said, showing energy, showing some strength, 0.4, which, you know, if you've been watching these videos, that shows that we have a little bit of significance in that value. And 0.14 and 0.09 respectively for technology communication services. A lot of times we'll see after these things trend for a little bit of they take a little bit of a breather. So technology is still overall strong. A lot of accumulation in technology over the last quarter, and really definitely showing some strength there. Again, industrials falling off, and so financials also showing some weakness. I like to show this chart. I've been showing it a little bit lately. So what we have here is if you take the 11 sector spiders total AUM, add them all up and come up with the number, that's what you have here. We're kind of floating around the $300 billion mark, which in the past has been kind of a nice level for us. On the bottom here, we have S&P 500 price chart. And, you know, just to explain this again, when we're above the 21-day moving average, we tend to see price appreciation. When we're below the 21-day moving average, we tend to see a little bit of regression in price. As of right now, staying nice and above that 21-day moving average, so we are seeing a little bit of a turn down in those overall asset flows. So how long this positive uptrend is going to last, we don't know. We're not here to speculate or project out cash flows, but if this turn down for the AUM continues and we start to negotiate this 21-day moving average, kind of look to see where we're at. The other thing to kind of note is we're bumping up in the S&P 500 against an upward resistance level, and we could see some asset flows kind of slow down as we're approaching that level. So just something to note. Again, not really germane to the SEAF model, but as we're watching flows, I do like to see how this thing is oriented. Obviously, we're still positively or aggressively oriented with tech, communication services, and consumer discretionary. Those tend to coincide with the bull market, but just I guess a little bit of speculation here on checking to see if this number continues to turn down and touch on that 21-day. Into our rainbow charts. Technology continues to lead and continues to be strong. We've looked to surpass that resistance on the relative performance part of this chart. Still nice and upper favored, 1 point away from being as favored as possible. This sustained upper favored tends to coincide with these really nice relative outperformance moves. And if you've taken technology since we've, for the last couple of weeks, since we've kind of broken up through neutral into this favored, we've had a really nice relative outperformance move in technology, and it continues to be a good place to be with strong flows through 3 time periods. Consumer discretionary. Consumer discretionary is the third SEAF signal. We are in favored. This, it's kind of one of those combinations where it's, good enough to be into favored. We are seeing slightly positive slightly positive relative outperformance trend, a bit, obviously not as aggressive as we see in technology. We'll definitely need to see some increased flows to get up into upper favored and really kind of get this relative outperformance heading in the right direction. But as of right now, I think with the overall meekness in the asset flows, trying to find some outperformance here, again, the way we've back tested our SEAF model is you always take the top three. The reason being is, because we're not projecting cash flows, we want to be in the position where we're in the sectors where overall the money is flowing, and consumer discretionary being in the top three, being in favored. It is currently one of those sectors. Communication services, again, not as aggressively uptrend as technology is. Obviously, if we bring it up, technology's had a really nice relative outperformance trend. As I mentioned last week, communication services is still a little bit in this trading box, but overall in a positive uptrend, nicely, highly favored. Would like to see some larger asset flows to really build up that accumulation. We don't have that same positive accumulation that we do in technology, but again, still in that positive range. Communication services continues to be a good spot to be. Energy. Wanted to bring up energy today. Energy on the trading week was had that 0.4, which is a really strong sustainable flows, or shows some conviction in its bet. As you can see here, we've had a little bit of a turn up in the relative outperformance part of this chart, which has overall been in a somewhat of a sideways downtrend going back for the last year. We've attempted to come up into favored multiple times here for energy, so this is not a leadoff that I want to try to give to our more aggressive investors just yet. But, just to note, we have spiked into favored multiple times over the last year. That has turned out to be little spurts of relative outperformance, but not really a sustained trend to break out of this overall box that we're trading on the relative performance side. Again, while it's very positive to see the strong flow on the trading week, we would need to see multiple sustained flows to really get up in that favored, as well as dropping off what was a pretty heavy accumulation in the strategic quarter in terms of outflows. So we're still kind of battling against a current here for energy, but just a place to keep an eye on. Again, slowly turning off. Could this relative performance be the bottom? We're not sure, but seeing some positive things in energy, but it's still definitely a wait and see. Again, we need some of those other flows to fall off in the strategic quarter, as well as get a couple of these sustained weeks to really have this thing take off into favored. So nothing to do yet in energy, just definitely watch this space. That is all I have for this week. I look forward to breaking down the SEAF model with you all next week, and thank you.